Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me today. I have a very special guest with me today who has very kindly agreed to take some time out of her busy schedule to answer a whole load of questions that I have for her. I am with Gracy Chen. She is the MD of Bitget, one of the best and fastest growing crypto exchanges out there. Bitget were one of the headline sponsors of our Coin Bureau event a few days ago, and I managed to persuade Gracy to sit down with me and answer a few questions. Gracy, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Firstly, how are you enjoying London?
So far, I love it. And I've been in London only for business trip, but for like 3 or 4 times. So I get to see some hidden gems and, of course, the tourism spots as well, like Big Ben, like Thames River. I love the city.
It's an amazing place, isn't it?
It is.
I've lived here before I moved down to Dubai. I lived here for all my life, and I can tell you, there is not enough time to see it all, but that's the amazing thing. Every time you come back, there's something new to see. So let's talk about Bitget, because you guys have been growing a lot over the last few months. So I was curious, like, why do you think that is?
I was asked about that question a lot, and honestly, there isn't any like secret source or secret recipe to growth. Actually, what we did is, in my opinion, just like day-to-day work to have a better experience for our users, for lots of emphasis on protecting the users and getting trust and being transparent with them. I guess that's a secret recipe if there is one. Things that we did that I'm very proud of to achieve those kind of growth, I would say, for example, our BGB platform token, which is our like exchange platform token, grow within just 1 quarter, the first quarter of this year, for like 120% growth. And then that's basically slightly more than double the price that we had. And then it reaches all-time high. So why is that growth? I think the main reason is that we kind of had more incentives for the users to use it or to hold it. And we kind of changed some schemes and tokenomics and have improved on that as well. That's token. But the token growth, as you know, or the exchange platform token growth is mainly about the platform growth as well. So what we did last year, number one, lots of emphasis on protection again. Even before FTX, we have started a protection fund, which was 200 million in open wallet, provable, where people can just check on those open wallet addresses to see that the funds are there. And then after FTX, we increased it to 300 million. And right now, I think it's valued more than 300, like nearly 350 million USD. This cryptocurrency is only in USDT, USDC, and BTC. It doesn't include our platform token. And we think that's important because people have a better idea of like transparency here as well.
Yeah.
And that protection fund is there to protect our users from anything that they kind of, if they lost some money due to like hacking or unstable security system, etc. And basically any sort of issue that is not because of them, we compensate the user with that fund. So protection and transparency, that's extremely important. I think that's also valued a lot by our users right now. I guess that's one of the major factors or driving sources for growth. Another thing, I would say luck.
It always helps.
It always helps, yeah. Why I say luck is because we actually partnered with Lionel Messi before the World Cup. And of course, he is good. He's like GOAT, greatest of all time soccer player. And the whole team kind of worked very well together in the final game with France. And I was in Qatar. And
wow.
Even if think about it, I'm actually not a football fan, honestly. Because of him, I mean, when I'm at the stadium, I even cried.
Wow.
I just cried for him and how hard that game is. And it kind of echoed echoed with me a lot in terms of growing an exchange. There are so many ups and downs. You need to all work as a team. The so-called, just like partial gain and growth is not good enough. You have to all be together and aim at one goal and, just score and just make the goals, right? And sometimes you think you are gaining a lot, just like during that game when Argentina team were at 2.0 with France, and you think the game is over, we will win. What happened next, right?
Yeah.
Like 39 minutes or so, that France team just scored 2 within another 10 minutes.
It was an extraordinary game, wasn't it?
Exactly. And I was there. I was like, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. And luckily in the end, they won the game. That's why I say luck. Sometimes, if you look at that game, right, it's not about, how good you are. It's about how long have you sustained. I probably rate it somewhere from this is a sentence that echo with me a lot. It doesn't matter who is the first to enter the market, but who lasts the longest.
Yeah.
And that's also how we view our competitions with other exchanges, our growth, and our value as well.
Yeah. It's nice to see someone in your positions acknowledge the importance of luck. Because I think it's very easy for people to go, oh, well, success, it's all about hard work and, you've just got to put the effort in and the hours in. And without acknowledging that
is
luck,
true, though.
that is certainly true, but you do need some luck as well, don't you? It's not all, you can't just rely on one thing.
Indeed.
Yeah. And you were talking about your team. Now that's grown a lot, hasn't it? You guys were sort of a few hundred employees not all that long ago, and now, if I'm right, you're sort of over 1,000. Is that correct?
Yes. So I joined the firm earlier last year. And when I joined the firm, we only have 200 employees. Right now we have 1,400, and we're also continually expanding. Although not extensively or extremely at a very fast speed, we have 100 to 200 opening positions right now, mainly in technology and product, as well as business development or the so-called frontliners. So backliners, a lot. Well, a little bit in frontliners as well. So I think that this is extremely important in this bear market when it's actually controversial too. Lots of people or the other exchanges, including the bigger ones, right? They are cutting off job and they are doing hiring freeze as well.
Yeah.
But we are still expanding. And also, I actually had a lot of chats internally with my team members because lots of people were worried that even, Binance are cutting off people. Are we doing the same thing? Are we going to downgrading or downsizing the pay, just have a pay cut? And I'm reassuring them that we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And we're still expanding a little bit.
Yeah. That's good, because that's something I wanted to ask as well. We see, obviously, for any business, hiring people is a good sign. It's a sign of growth and it's a sign of confidence in the market. Crypto is particularly susceptible, particularly vulnerable to to changes in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and I think we saw this during the last bull run, didn't we? A lot of exchanges hired a whole load of people, which kind of makes sense if you're wanting to grow. But then again, everyone in crypto knows that the market is cyclical, and therefore there's going to be a downturn. So, yeah, I guess so. You guys are confident that even under current market conditions and possibly worsening market conditions, that that hiring is sustainable. You're going to keep, retain those staff and hopefully grow in the future.
Yes, we think so. And first of all, thinking about a cycle. So right now it's a bear market, right? And in our opinion, bear market or the so-called crypto winters are the best time to grow. Imagine Bitget actually started in 2018. That was the last deepest bear market. And we are so used to driving this cycle and this wave. And right now, we think it's the best time to grow because you can attract lot more talents, especially talents who are really the builders, who really have true belief in the industry. Otherwise, they won't be here at this moment of time. And then when we do investment and acquirement, the valuation is also relatively low. That's why even when many people or many of my friends who are just like having holidays in Thailand or Bali, we are working rigorously. That's the first reason. So in terms of cycle, we think it's actually a good time to grow, and we want to be prepared for the upcoming bull market too. And number two, the key thing about our growth is actually it matches well with our user growth and volume growth. We don't want to, grow the employees too much, and that's why we are kind of being steadily stabilized right now, rather than like 6 times within the year, kind of employee growth that we did for the past year. Right now, we just kind of want to do it slowly, because for the past 1 year, we did see lots of growth on volume as well. Within half a year, we had like 3 times the trading volume, as well as the almost the users number matches kind of very well as well. And especially on spot market, that we see lots of growth this year, because we started off as a derivative exchange in 2018. And we kind of appreciate the fact that although in the bear market, the spot market or spot trading volume is not as good as it is in the bull market, but those people who are, still, again, in the industry, they are the true believers.
Yeah.
And many people will prefer spot than derivative. And we have come up with our own ways to attract users. For example, we want to provide the best uniquely valuable assets on our platform by exclusive investing in some of the early stage projects, do some launch pads, more incentives for our own token, for people to hold our own token, etc. Like these are different ways to grow spot market. And I can, continue on and on for a whole day talk on how to grow spot market, because we did that. We tried that last year, but we had lots of things that we kind of experimented that works or it doesn't work, which is quite, secret show that I don't think a lot of people are willing to share those knowledge.
Yeah. I can imagine. So let me, one thing I wanted to ask you as well, and I think this is something that people are always interested in when it comes to talking about exchanges. Obviously, one of the main ways in which an exchange is able to grow is what coins and tokens it can list. And so can you talk a little bit about what that process is? How do you decide when or why to list a coin or token? What sort of conditions are there? What would you have to look out for, etc.?
Okay. Great question. So token listing, we mainly look at 3 criteria. Number 1, whether that business this company is operating in, whether it makes sense or not.
Okay.
And tokenomics. So business model, tokenomics, that's the first thing we look at. And then we also look at how active the community is.
Okay.
By this community number, I don't just mean, Twitter followers. We all know that it can be fake, or Reddit users. We actually dig into the community, and for example, my listing team, they will, go into the Reddit and really observe and see what's talking about, whether there are enough volume and whether the topic is really hot. Right. So we do our DDs, due diligence. And number 3, we also look at the main team and the investor profile, because in Web3 we also think who drives the token or the project matter a lot, especially in terms of their value. So for example, if if they've done something bad in the past, we kind of know, right? And we kind of see the pattern, and we don't really want to work with those kind of people. So these are the three major factors. But of course, each sector in terms of Web3 projects, it varies a lot. Like Memecoin, it may not have that strong business model. It doesn't have a business model. So we value Memecoin differently from, infrastructure projects. We of course value like AI projects very different from SocialFi or GameFi projects. So we have different kind of experts on this. But other than this kind of, some project come to us and we kind of list them, this process, I call it, this is like a push process. Okay. When projects come to us and push the projects to us. We also have a pull process. What do I mean by that? Is I also have a strong research team that they will observe and look at the on-chain data and see where are the active volume happening, especially from the DEX. For example, Arbitrum. We actually listed Arbitrum's ecosystem tokens much earlier than they had the Arbitrum airdrop in, I think, March.
Yeah.
So at that time, many of my friends pivoted from other exchanges to us because they said Bitget is the only platform that they can buy Arbitrum-related tokens. And how we did that is we actually observed the on-chain data and we see lots of volume happening on the Arbitrum ecosystem. So even if Arbitrum doesn't have their token, we talked to those individual projects, like 10 plus of that ecosystem, and ask them to list their tokens on our platform. So this is what I mean by the pull effect.
Okay.
When we see that this is a trendy topic or the trendy token, we will approach those projects on our own as well. And we think that's valuable. Like I mentioned earlier, we really think being able to list the most valuable tokens is a crucial step or a crucial methodology to achieve growth, especially on the spot market.
Yeah. I suppose you have to tread a fairly difficult line or a fairly fine line between giving customers what they want, giving users what, the tokens that they want to buy, but also, the stuff that you obviously can't list because it doesn't meet those criteria.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, a lot of things are outright scams and all that sort of stuff. I'm curious though, where do you stand on the issue? Like some people will say, well, things like meme coins and stuff, people feel differently about them. Some people think that they should be, banned. Other people think that the market should decide. I mean, where do you stand on that? Do you think it should be entirely up to users? It's like if we want to buy this coin, then that's up. That's entirely their choice. Or do you think that exchanges, have a role to play in maybe limiting access to them? I mean, do you think it should be either one or the other, or is there kind of something in the middle?
This is something we are indeed debating even among the higher managers in terms of, like you said, how much we want to offer. Of course, we want the volume, we want the trading fee, and when it's a popular meme coin, you can get a lot trading fee out of it. But ultimately, meme coin has to be, big enough. And going back to the topic of community, it better not. It's better that it's not just like held by a small group of people who kind of started this meme coin, right? We need the whole community to have consensus for us to list the meme coin. So right now we are actually standing at this kind of course, still continually debating. Some of our managers think, we really want to open up and be very welcoming to all sorts of meme coins. The standard is relatively lower than what we hold for other sectors. But some may think, meme coin ultimately may just go to zero.
Yeah.
Right now, especially in the bear market, we still think, or at least I personally think, that meme coin is going to be very popular among users and traders. So we kind of want to open this up a bit for the users to trade and for the projects to be listed. But we also want to warn our users that, whenever you're dealing with Memecoin, there probably isn't that strong fundamentals in terms of, business models, tokenomics, etc. But yeah, again, it's very controversial.
Yeah. I guess, I kind of feel that, users, they're adults, so they should, ultimately the decision is up to them. And I kind of feel it's like if they're determined to go and buy a meme coin, then there are going to be other places where they can get it. And I guess one of the benefits of centralized exchanges is that you offer that, you can offer that sort of easier trading experience. A lot of people find trading on decentralized exchanges, the UX isn't great. It's easy to make mistakes, things like that. Uniswap, MetaMask, and things like this aren't always the most straightforward things to use. So I guess if people have a place where it's easy to do and they can see what's involved, then that's a benefit for them. Centralized exchanges, though, they're under a lot of scrutiny at the moment, especially from the US, but not solely the United States. So, what are your thoughts on that? How do you see this playing out in the next few sort of months and years?
I think we will need to look at compliance and regulations on a geographical level. Like it's really different from region to region. The big picture is, especially after FTX collapse, we were actually aware that there will be more and more regulation compliance coming up. And we also think it's important for mass adoption, especially because the general public really need to, have faith and trust in our whole industry. And compliance regulation is one way to build that trust. That's the main picture. But if we look at region by region, if we look at US, I guess the major issue, we touch upon this a bit on our panel as well.
Yeah.
The major issue is that the federal government, the state government, they all have some sort of say in this, and they don't really agree with each other.
Yeah.
Even SEC and CFTC don't agree with each other on everything. So as an industry player, for us, it's really hard to tackle the market. That's why we don't really, serve US customer.
Yeah.
And if we look at some other regions, especially some cities in Asia, like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai, they are becoming very friendly. So I guess that's one of the reasons people like you moved to Dubai, right? It's a great place to live, lifestyle-wise, but also your career can flourish better in that region. The same goes to us. We kind of, we started a big team in Hong Kong last year, and our compliance team worked with external lawyers to apply a license in Hong Kong as well. And then, we all sort of have some kind of placements in different regions that is more user-friendly, or at least crypto-friendly from the governmental perspective. So we take all the scrutiny and all the compliance requirements very seriously, and we try to comply as much as we can in different regions. But again, region from region, it's very different. And we are hoping that all the governments can, talk more to industrial players, especially the big ones, to understand what we're facing.
Yeah.
And the challenges, how basically have come up a better way to regulate the industry. And we really want to comply and join those conversations as well.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you folks, but I have to let you know about the Coin Bureau deals page. Now, my team and I have been able to pull together some of the best promos and discounts in the crypto space. We're talking trading fee discounts of over 50%, thousands of dollars in bonus airdrops, amazing deals at top exchanges, reduced prices on hardware wallets, and much, much more besides. So just go to coinbureau.com/deals, also linked to below, and find the promo suited to you. Enjoy the rest of the video. So Gracy, we started out talking about how much Bitget has grown, especially over the last few months. So this leads us on to what the future holds. So what can we expect from Bitget in the future?
I like to mainly share two things. So number one is AI. So AI has been such a trendy topic since last year's ChatGPT's launch and becoming more and more popular. And we also think AI is actually going to be a long-term narrative in crypto, not just crypto, but in all our life. In Bitget, we have already launched an AI martingale strategy. So this is a specific strategy that is useful in a bear market when there are lots of ups and downs as well. And then we will have more news coming up around AI, embedding it in our system like customer service, in our translation department to make life and jobs easier, etc. So AI is a big thing that we are betting. And by the way, we also have an investment arm for Venture. We have 400 million AUM in that investment fund. And AI is one of the 5 sectors we are extensively looking at.
Okay.
So AI is a big thing. And then in Q3, we are actually going to do some rebranding. So this is like secret news that I'm sharing with your
Okay, this is an exclusive. Nice.
Yeah, this is exclusive. So we are going to do a rebranding and some update on UI, UX, etc. And we are going to announce a new partner other than Leo Messi. But this person is also famous, especially in the English-speaking world.
Okay.
And no more sports and esports, because that's the area that we did a lot of investment and a lot of partnership with. We see lots of users, kind of synergy among sport fans with crypto users. But this is a more like border space. Yeah, so stay tuned.
Okay. I'm trying to think who it might be now.
Maybe it's not, it won't be someone that come to top to your mind, because actually Leo Messi is already very famous.
He's about the most famous person in the world. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. So very hard to beat him.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting aspect or area that we are kind of exploring.
Okay. Yeah. So lots to come, in other words. Lots to look forward to.
Yeah, so new branding.
Yeah, I've got to try and think who that person's going to be. Okay, so I want to talk, if it's all right, a little bit about you. Sure. Because I think people in your role, you're the sort of the public face of Bitget. There's a lot of scrutiny on people in your position. So can you tell us, first of all, what exactly your role at Bitget is and what it involves?
Okay. I'm managing director of the company. I joined 1.5 years ago, but I joined Bitget that time. But actually, I get to know the company much earlier because I started off as an investor in crypto space, primary market, secondary market. One of the projects I invested in is called Bitkeep. So Bitkeep is basically right now Bitget's sister company, which is our decentralized wallet. As one of the early investors, I get to know the whole team pretty well since 2021. And then last year, when the founder was looking for someone who has more marketing experience and who, like you said, willing to be the public face as well. And he reached out to the so-called investors and asked for some recommendation. And I was like, how about me? It sounds like my profile, because before joining Bitget, I actually worked as chief marketing officer for some Web2 startups, building fintech and metaverse for 6-7 years. Yeah, so have some experience there in marketing, as well as have extensive knowledge on crypto space and lots of connections as well. So I joined the company, and what I do right now is very similar and aligned to what I did before: marketing, branding, PR, growth, and try to flourish our brand and make a louder voice in the space. So we really wanna, you can consider me of anything external. So not just branding, marketing. I also talk to our influencers a lot, work a lot with our listing team, with our investment arm. But anything that we need to deal with external partners, I'm kind of on hand on that.
Yeah. And how do you find that? Being the sort of very much the public face of it, is that something that you enjoy? Do you find it quite tough at times?
Personality-wise, I do enjoy doing external things. And by the way, other than just being the public face, I also work on the business side and a lot with all our partners and ecosystems. But to me, something that really that is attractive in this job is I don't just get to, talk about certain things. I get to build up very important partnerships like with you guys, right? But there are things that I really hate, of course. So for example, let me just share with you a story. That one day I was in a meeting, suddenly my phone was like ringing and I saw more than 100 notifications popping up on my Twitter account. And I was like, what happened? So I saw this, someone was tagging me and Bitget Global and spreading FUD about us.
Right.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the jargon that we use in the crypto world. So that person is spreading FUD, and I was like, what happened? And I sent my team to figure out. And it turns out that he is the founder. So-called, he actually named himself as advisor, but he's actually the founder of a project that was listed on our platform, but then delisted. Or at that time wasn't delisted yet. It was just like froze. The account was frozen. What happened is on the same day that the token is listed, what he did is basically, or the project, what we observed in terms of pattern is a big pump and dump.
Right.
And sometimes, at that time I was like, maybe there's something we need to figure out between us, and maybe it's not his fault, right? And there could be some external market making parties that did that. So we sent a BD to talk to the team, and it turns out they just blackmailed us. I'm not going to name the number, but it's quite ridiculous. And then and also our users lost a lot of money because the token price dropped a lot. So we had a few very hard conversations externally. We sent our BDs and we had some external negotiation with him as well. But it turns out that they are just not willing to really, investigate and come up with a good plan to going forward. And what we did is we accommodated our user from our Bitget protection fund that we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, it's not the user's fault. It's this token's fault or this project's fault. So that's the kind of situation that we will use this fund to accommodate users, to compensate users. And until today, they are still spreading FUD.
Really?
And we still haven't really come up with like they are just not willing to talk about things sanely.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that I need to face. So during that period of time, my tweet was full of scams and FUDs, and even for 1 week, I feel so bad that I didn't really want to log into my Twitter account.
Yeah.
But that's part of my job, and also I think it's very important for us to stand strong on situations like this, that to let the project and the whole world know our attitudes towards the bad behaviors in the industry. We just don't, blow down easily, and we stand strong on our value.
Situation like that, I guess, it's obviously it's stressful for a number of reasons, but there's just so much I think that you must have to deal with in a situation like that. You're trying to get a resolution to this problem. You're trying to find out exactly who's involved and what the best outcome for your users is, all that sort of stuff. There must be quite a lot of decisions to make in a fairly short period of time.
That's true. Yeah, that's another challenging part of my job. There are lots of situations like this. And I guess being a leader or being a manager, one thing very important is about making decisions, especially making hard decisions.
Yeah.
And even if it's hard, you have to do it, and you better do it right.
Yeah.
That's how I view it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's something that you're comfortable with, when that sense that it kind of stops with you. You're the person who has to say yes or no, as it were.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah, sometimes I'm the person, and sometimes we even need to have more conversations around the managers to come up with a decision.
So one other thing I wanted to ask was how did you discover crypto in the first place? How did you find your way into the industry? Obviously, as you say, you were working kind of Web 2, and then you came to Bitget. But how did your crypto journey itself begin?
When I started my Web 2 journey, I met a few friends. So one of them is a co-founder of Binance.
Oh, right. Okay.
Lisa, she was a good friend back in 2014-15. We were both based in Beijing. And then I went to Silicon Valley for entrepreneurial study at Draper University. So Draper University is started by this legendary VC called Tim Draper. Obviously, he lost a lot of cryptocurrency during the Mt. Gox incident. He was also an early investor in Tesla, Hotmail, as well as Coinbase.
Yeah.
So he talked a lot about, the freedom that Bitcoin has. And I remember in the early days that I bought XRP, Ripple Labs cryptocurrency. Actually, there wasn't exchanges or exchanges wasn't the main medium of buying that. I actually need to register an account on Ripple Labs website.
Okay, yeah.
And later, like 2-3 years later, when I need to recover that wallet, I have to, I nearly thought I lost all of them. But basically, you need to log into Ripple Labs website and, do lots of process and discover that wallet. But that's the old days when you want to buy some cryptocurrencies. Right now, it's much more convenient to trade it on exchanges. But back to the story. So at the time, I was very attracted by, the freedom and the sort of decentralization idea that cryptocurrency has. In 2015-16, when I started buying crypto. And gradually, I was just living those cryptocurrencies aside, not thinking about them at all, and do my Web 2 startup, my fintech startup. Actually, my fintech startup that I worked, I started, co-founded, and I worked as CMO. They actually were working pretty well, even until today. Mm-hmm. That startup is a unicorn already. It has a weapon of, I think, 8 billion trading volume, like volume on a yearly basis, at least in 2022. Yeah, so it's one of the startups I did, and I cashed out some money, and I started investing more in crypto space since 2017, then 2020. And I love to buy things in the bear market. So
best time,
exactly. So secondary market, primary market, all sort of investment. Yeah, that's like my crypto journey. So I think I have a slightly different angle from most people who work in the space, because I started off as an investor in the space. So the investor angle, you get to see lots of things, like from the fundamentals, from the business models. That's why I'm a very factual and statistics oriented person. And I studied applied mathematics back in my university. I'm doing another degree at MIT. So I'm relatively technical, I would say.
I remember you saying this the other day. Whilst being MD of Bitget, you're also doing a PhD, was it?
Oh no, it's an MBA.
An MBA. Okay.
MIT, yeah.
Wow, I don't know how you find the time to do that.
Yeah, sleep 5 hours per day.
5 hours. Okay, that doesn't seem like enough. But okay, so I want to ask you one more question, because I know we've been chatting for a while now, and you're very busy. But I would love to know just some thoughts that you have. How would you? I'm not going to ask you to predict the future. How would you like to see the digital assets industry evolve over the next few years?
I would hope there are clearer compliance framework, and that's one key element in the space to grow our industry to mass adoption. Then internally, I also want to see more interesting projects coming up, projects who are solving real problems, rather than, Memecoin, which is more like a hype. You can tell that I'm personally not a big fan of.
You didn't go in on purpose.
But I understand why people are doing that. It's just I'm more of a fundamental person, and I really hope that maybe after 5 years we can really use stable coins or Bitcoin to buy some real life thing. Like it can become like a real currency where you can use to buy things and trade in the non-crypto world.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's going to drive mass adoption and very exciting to see. Around things like that, like we can use crypto and then blockchain Web3 projects, they can solve some real issues. Even for the X2Earn projects that I invested in, or we at Bitget or Forza Venture invested in, I mean, we look at those projects who have more fundamentals, who are more interesting, who have the we call it positive inflow of users and the fund, rather than just like a Ponzi.
Yeah.
And people are just doing that thing to earn rather than maybe pay to do that thing. So this is kind of the projects that I'm excited to see more in the space.
Yeah.
So it's really about the fundamentals, about what's really the problems that the projects or our whole industry are solving.
Yeah. Basically, you want to see crypto kind of live up to its potential, make good on its promises.
Yeah. And Web3 projects are only less than 1% than Web2 projects. Coming from a Web2 startup like background, I kind of think being able to see a real problem is really important to drive the adoption of drive the success of a Web2 project. But this is not really always the case in Web3. But I think for it to grow faster, bigger, it should be.
Yeah, let's hope so. Gracy, thank you so much for answering my questions today. It's been great talking to you. Bitget is doing great things. And yeah, I think there's so much to look out for. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Guy.
Pleasure. Thanks everyone for watching. I will leave some links down below in the description for Gracy and Bitget. And please do like and subscribe if you don't already. My thanks again to Gracy, and I'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.